there is a memory you trust completely. Maybe it's a childhood moment, a conversation that hurt you, the face of someone you love, an event that shaped who you became. You've carried it for years, referenced it, built part of your identity around it, and it never happened. Not the way you remember it, maybe not at all. This isn't a rare condition. It isn't a symptom of trauma or age or mental illness. It is the default state of every human mind on Earth, including yours, right now, as you watch this. Your memory is not a recording. It is something far stranger, far less reliable, and far more dangerous than most people are ever willing to accept. In the 1970s, a young psychologist named Elizabeth Loftus became obsessed with a question that most of her colleagues considered already settled. How accurate is human memory? The assumption at the time, in courtrooms, in therapy offices, in everyday life, was that memory worked something like a camera. You experience something, it gets stored, and when you remember it, you retrieve what was actually there. Loftus suspected something different, so she ran an experiment. She showed participants footage of a car accident, then asked them questions about what they'd seen. But she changed a single word in one version of the question. One group was asked, how fast were the cars going when they hit each other? The other group was asked, how fast were the cars going when they smashed into each other? Same footage, same accident. One word different. The smashed group reported significantly higher speeds. They were more likely to later claim they had seen broken glass in the video. There was no broken glass. One word, planted, after the fact. And the memory changed. But that wasn't the worst part. Loftus didn't stop there. She wanted to know how far this could go, not just distorting a detail, but manufacturing an entire memory from nothing. In one of her most famous studies, she worked with participants and their families to plant a completely fabricated childhood memory. The participants were told, with apparent sincerity from their own relatives, that as a child, they had once gotten lost in a shopping mall, panicked, separated from their parents, eventually found by a stranger. It never happened to any of them. Within weeks, a significant portion of participants not only believed the memory, they began elaborating on it, adding sensory details, describing the stranger's face, remembering how they felt. They weren't lying. They genuinely remembered something that never existed. And here is where this stops being an interesting psychology study and starts being something that should fundamentally change how you think about your own past. Because Loftus wasn't working with uniquely suggestible people. She wasn't targeting people with memory disorders or unstable psychological profiles. She was working with ordinary people, people exactly like you. Every time you remember something, your brain doesn't retrieve a stored file. It reconstructs it in real time, stitching fragments together with emotions, assumptions, and whoever you are in that moment. And here's what makes that disturbing. Every time you remember something, you change it. Whatever you're feeling, whatever you've learned since, whatever story you currently tell about yourself, it all bleeds into the reconstruction. You don't store the original, you store the edited version. You have been quietly rewriting your own past every single day of your life. The ones you've told so many times they feel solid, permanent, real. How many times have you remembered them? Because every single retrieval rewrote them, shaped by who you were that day, that year, that version of yourself with different fears and different needs. What you remember now is not what happened. It is the most recent draft. And this is where it gets darker, because research shows people misremember entire periods of their lives, recalling years as happier or more painful than diary entries written at the time actually recorded. You aren't remembering your life, you are narrating it, retroactively, without knowing it. Elizabeth Loftus spent decades being attacked for her work, accused of giving cover to abusers, of destabilizing a legal system built on human testimony. She kept publishing anyway, because the truth about memory is not an assault on human experience. It's an invitation to hold your own stories more gently, to be a little less certain about the wound you've been nursing for 20 years, a little more curious about whether the story you've told yourself so many times it feels like bedrock is actually true, or just familiar. You are not the sum of what happened to you. You are the sum of what you've made it mean, and that is still yours to decide. The past isn't behind you, it's inside you, and it's still being written.